Hi Cancer, this is Kajora Lovely with your general reading for the month of March 2019. I also did a general video for all signs for the month of March. You can check that out by looking at the link in the description box below. I talked about a little bit about the astrology, the moons, the holidays, and pulled some cards for general themes coming up. So you can also check that out to see what resonates with you. Okay. So I'm going to do a general reading for the sign of Cancer for March 2019. Also, just to let you guys know, I'm a tarot card reader, but I also am a reiki healer. I'm based in LA, and if you're ever interested in an in-person or distance reading or healing session, you can email me. My information is all, again, in the description box below. Okay. Let's see what's going on with you guys this month. And if you're curious, I am reading with the Radiant Rider Waite. Interesting. So you got some of the cards that showed up in that general video. Because what's influencing you right now is the Five of Swords, which showed up directly in that one, which usually means someone being underhanded, conniving, deceitful, manipulative, whatever they can do to win, even if it's through the unpleasant means. But at the same time, you're feeling pretty grounded, it looks like, with the Empress here, because this is all about being creative and fertile and abundant, being able to create life, bring new ideas forward, bring things from concept into being. This also relates to earth energy, so it can be, feeling your own fertility and abundance. Not necessarily, if you don't want a child, it doesn't necessarily mean that, but fertility also means creativity, creation of any kind. Overall, you've got hope. This is an overarching influence in your life right now, which is amazing. It's also relates to the sign of Aquarius, so it could be that person's influence in your life. But it's actually nice to see this card right now because some of the other readings for the other signs have not been super hopeful. And so it's nice that you have this right now. So it may also be, FYI, you may need to shine a light in the lives of other people that you know. You may need to carry this forward a little bit into the world for the time being. And this is also, because it's the water bearer, it relates to the sign of Aquarius, which is about sort of accessing or distributing knowledge, love, abundance, things that can be used to help other people. So even if it's information, ideas, concepts, and, accessing information, that sort of thing, that might be helpful at this time. The base right now is the Queen of Swords. Now, this is actually an air sign. So this could be a person who's influencing you. This can be, so if it's an air sign, then it's also Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. But it can also be a woman who, or not necessarily a woman, it could be anyone who knows what they want and how to move it forward. They're not necessarily diplomatic about it, but they'll tell you what they want and how they want it done, and they will not be afraid to let you know. But it's not in reverse, so they're not coming from a bad place. Let me pull another card on that one, because I'm curious. It actually feels like a pretty gentle energy. It feels like someone, or a situation, feels like someone that you trust, someone that you enjoy being with because they're forthright. Yeah, so there's a new venture or project there with this person. So this could be someone that is like a business partner or that you're in a relationship with. It could be someone that you'll be pairing up with. But it looks like you could be making new things happen. Because this can be a new job, new project, new creative endeavor, some type of new energy that's coming in. Short-term future is the Hangman in reverse. So this card is usually about, so when it's in reverse, This card is about making sure that you're not being a martyr in a situation that maybe hasn't gone well or didn't go well in the past. What I'm getting is not focusing on what's not there. It's not just about seeing how things didn't work out, what didn't happen. It's also about focusing on what did. Because with this, it can often be a lot of, oh, poor me. Because this is really like, this person was hung up. So when it's like this, I often see it as you're stuck in that position for a little while. You've got to change your perspective. There's things that you need to see. When it's like this, it's more like, these villagers strung me up. Life is so hard. Sorry, that's my emo Leo coming out. But it can be a little bit of playing the victim. So, which if you couldn't tell from that voice was what that was. So I think it's important to not play the victim at this time. If something, with this, the trick with the hangman is if something does happen that is less than ideal, is pretty not great, the reason it's happening is for you to learn a lesson. And so don't not learn the lesson. In other words, do learn the lesson. Put in the time and effort to make sure you do learn the lesson. That's a better way to put that. Also, where you are, it looks like you're planning on moving things forward. I think it could be that new project or venture. You're getting ready to plan and move some stuff forward. This is usually like what you've been planning. Now it's about to happen. You're about to step through that portal. That change is about to occur in your life. So that's really exciting. So what's influencing you right now is the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Swords in reverse. So this is interesting because you've got a lot of court and people cards. So, which can mean that there's either a lot of aspects of your own personality that are influencing you at the time, or it can mean a lot of people who are major players this month. So I don't think this is just you. This has shown up in the readings I've done before yours. So I honestly think this month there's going to be a lot of interacting with other people, and it may not always necessarily be pretty. Again, if you haven't check out my general video, because I talk a little bit about Mercury in retrograde and some things to keep in mind, because it's retrograde from March 5th to March 28th, and it's in Pisces. So it should be super fun. Hopefully we'll all get through it. So take these as it applies. It can be aspects of your personality or people that you know. So Queen of Pentacles in reverse, that can be an earth sign. So Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo. It can be, or someone who has those attributes, someone who's very grounded, often a little slow to change, sometimes a little stubborn because they think they know what they want. They can be opinionated. Sometimes they like some of the nicer things in life, or at least once in a while when they can afford it. Now, there may be a little bit of greed with this, a little manipulation, because they want what they want, and they know what they want. Same with the King of Swords. So this could be an air sign. So Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. Or someone who is very intelligent, a lot in their head. They can get a little anxious because they're living in here. Earth is very much like, I am doing what I want. Air is like, I have a million ideas at once and I want to make all of them happen. And what about this? And what if this happens? And what about that? And so they can also be very much like, I know what I want to do and we're going to do it. And, but they're usually, in a good day, they're not always diplomatic. When this card is reversed, they're more manipulative and cunning. They're not coming from good intentions necessarily. It could be, for both these cards, it could be they're coming from selfish intentions. So whatever these are, let's ask, what is the best course of action for you during this time? Focus on what you do want. You have the Magician here. So I feel like first and foremost, this is about you not forgetting your power. Retaining your power in every situation. Well, what I'm hearing is when you come to blows with someone, which could be physical or not, but when you come into contact with someone who makes you doubt yourself or your gifts or your talents or what you're capable of. Because with this, I almost feel like the big message is the surety, knowing who you are, what you are, what you want, knowing where you want to go, knowing what you want to do. And feeling power in that. Feeling power in yourself. So that's influencing you this month, FYI. Then, as far as the outcome goes, this is death. This is not an actual death, FYI. It's a transformation. It's a shift. A change that's coming on. And what I love about this card, actually, because even though it gets a lot of flack, is that if you look at this, death has already come in a way. The king is already dead. These people are going to be fine. The sun is rising. It's a new day already. So, and I often see it as kind of like the worst has already come, because usually it's about transformation. When it comes in reverse, it means that there's a transformation you're resisting. But this means you're going to be embracing it. It's going to be happening. And that's probably because you're getting out of a situation that, fucking sucks. With the devil in reverse, it usually means any situation that maybe had addiction, or you felt like you were beholden to someone else, or something had power over you. You found a way to get out of it, and you're going to be getting out of it. And it could be that this month you're going to start seeing your way out and figuring out how the hell you're going to get out of Dodge. And that could relate to a person who you don't want to work for or be with or have in your life in any capacity. So the Emperor can be an Aries, but not necessarily. But it's somebody who is so thirsty and hungry for power that they don't care if they scorch the earth. It's very similar to that King of Swords energy in reverse, where they're not coming from a good place. Now, it can also relate to you feeling unbalanced, unmoored, untethered, feeling like you don't have an anchor to hold you on to anything. So there's that shift and change that's coming that will move you out of that. And it looks like with the Six of Wands in reverse, there's a triumph coming, but it's going to be delayed. This is usually victory and often recognition for what you've accomplished. But so that doesn't mean it's not happening. It just means it's not happening right away. And then also in reverse is good news coming. So that means good news may not be coming the way you want it. I feel like it's that there's some situation, that you don't want to be in anymore, that you don't like. You have hope. You see what you're capable of. You want to be the martyr. You're able to move things forward, but you kind of have to manipulate these personalities and not question your own self-worth. You have to remember who you are and what you're capable of. You're figuring out a way to get out of it, which is really through transformation. So it's almost like there is no way to change this except to rock the boat. That's what it feels like. That is the best course of action, because you have to have a sizable shakeup in order to make motion happen. So what's coming to mind is I saw this quote on Pinterest or something that said, there's relation into the Norse god Loki, not just the one from the Thor movies, but it's based on the Norse god Loki, who is the god of chaos, who, by the way, was not the other son of Odin. I think they were actually brothers or something. But where someone said, if you want to change your life, you need to invite in chaos. I don't know if I think that's entirely true, but it just made me think of that. That sometimes I think it's also more of a mindset of accepting that if you actually want change to happen, that means a certain amount of chaos does have to happen, and you have to invite in the possibility of that and be open to it for anything in the situation to change. Because if you don't want change, then nothing's going to change. And change is uncomfortable. That's why everyone's so afraid of it, because it means that you have to also change something about your viewpoint and what you're saying or what you're doing. You have to grow up and learn and move on. It's not just their problem. It's not just an outside job. It's also an inside job. So they want me to say, keep hope alive. I think you're going to be okay. You're figuring your way out of this. It's going to be interesting and dynamic, but it's also really about not forgetting your power. And I think that's a big part actually with this, with the hangman, of not going into victim mode. Going into victim mode means you're giving someone else your power. And it's hard. Trust me, I did it a lot in the past. It's really easy to do because it's a way of saying this was done to me. I was not an active participant in this, because it is far more difficult in any situation that was pretty not great to say this happened to me. And often it's because there's some lesson that you have to learn in that, no matter how fucking awful it is. And I think that that's part of it, is not giving your power over to other people, not letting them put you in victim mode. And I think it's also owning up to that fact to a certain extent, of saying, how much of me wanted this? You know, and by the way, I'm not trying to be flippant with you guys by saying this. I've had to do everything I'm telling you, I've done myself. I wouldn't tell you to do something I haven't done myself. That's a big part of what I learned too of becoming a healer, is you can't really ask people to do things you haven't done, because then how the hell else can we talk about it? You know, if it's hard, it's not fun. I'm not gonna lie. And sometimes it sucks taking responsibility, even for the really shitty things that happen in life. But at the same time, it's a part of growing up. It's a part of realizing that, you know, in a way you actually did have more autonomy than you thought you did. In a way, you did make choices that led to those situations. And now you get to own up to them, learn them, heal them, release whatever you don't want, and move on. Because whatever that was, that lesson, that doesn't have to follow you for the rest of your life. Once you learn the lesson, you end that chapter. So I don't really know who all that information was for. I hope that that was helpful for some of you, for those of you that needed to hear it. And I think whatever it is that is happened in the past that you don't want to carry with you, just keep in mind, you can always, it's not that you have to shut that away in your brain, but you can sort of release it into the universe in a way that feels right for you, and find a way, either like you imagine water washing it out of you. I imagine releasing it into a fire where it's burned and transmuted into the universe, where it's put into energy, into something else. You can imagine wind blowing it away, whatever. Burying it into the earth where it can be healed by Mother Nature. However it works for you, whatever you don't want to carry with you, once you've figured out what that is, there's always a way that you can release it from you. However, it's important whenever you're releasing to then, you want to open up your crown chakra, which is the top of your head, which connects you to divine source and energy. Whoever your higher power is, imagine it coming from them, or it. And bring in, I usually imagine white energy into those places to fill up with love, kindness, compassion, especially if you're trying to get rid of things related to fear, because fear and love are opposites. I feel like that always really helps, because you don't want to just release and then leave all those spaces within you open, even energetically. You want to bring in love to fill those voids that you just made open. So, okay, well, it's going to be an interesting month for us all. I wish you the best of luck and a wonderful month, Cancer. I will see you again next month.